Hello, everybody. Hi,
Hey,
Dana.
hi Steve.
How are you? Loaded
It's so
question.
weird how you say that because, we were talking when you were setting up the stream. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, but for the
I'm
for
really, I'm really tired. It's Friday.
it is, yeah. But you made it to the end, yeah.
Next week, Steve.
Is next week going to be tough?
Next week, we go back to everybody there all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The week before Halloween. The week before Halloween. Halloween's on a Sunday. That means no parties, right? Right?
Hopefully.
I don't think that's what it means. Oh, and then everybody's gonna get sick. We're gonna
Like
have to
last
cancel
year.
school, and they'll make us give the exams. And our scores are gonna be messed up, and then oh gosh, I need to not worry about that. Hasn't happened yet. It might not happen.
That's
It
right.
might not happen.
It's absolutely right. It may not happen at all. So, just to let
What?
everybody know, this is probably going to be a short stream because Dana is exhausted and um, could have just said, let's not do this, but she
But
insisted that we go ahead.
realize that I did that last time.
Well, but you know what? I mean,
Eventually, we'll never finish the friggin' book. And Steve was like, this will be easy. It's a short book. Well, it doesn't stay short if you don't actually do the live stream.
Whoa,
What'd you do?
you just went black for a second, but now you're back.
Steve, did you really have to jump right into the race thing?
you your screen went black for a second, but now I think but now you're back. So, I you're okay. Don't worry about it. I overreacted.
You're very blue. Like, really
Thank you.
blue.
I've got my blue shirt.
Like,
I've got a blue backlight.
and it's reflecting off of the shiny.
My major award.
He won a major award. He won a major award.
It came in a box with an
That's
Italian
not
word
part of the
on it that
lyrics.
said
Steve,
fragile.
that's not part of the lyrics.
The lyrics to what?
The song, major award. Obviously.
I'm not familiar with it.
Living under a rock, Steve. Living under a rock.
What's it from?
A Christmas story.
Oh, it's like a musical?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not familiar with that. I'm familiar with the classic film that is in no way a musical.
There's music in it.
I mean, there's music in it. There's, da, 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 da. There's music in the background when Santa kicks Ralphie down the slide. I feel it's, mostly there for counterpoint.
You know, maybe if I was prompted, I can't remember. I can remember what the songs felt like. Or also maybe if I was not so tired, I would be able to remember them. There's one. That's what a mother does. Yeah, and just like that, the moment about her the boys growing up, I really liked that one. Anyway, not that that has anything to do with this book.
No, you want to get to the book because
Because
then
I'm tired.
because you're tired and you've had a long week and a long day, and
And then I
let's
can go home.
you can you can sign off and spend the rest of the night doing whatever you want. You can go straight from your desk there straight to bed. Sleep the whole weekend.
No,
You could.
I have commitments, Steve.
Commitments that you can't possibly blow off.
See, this is the problem with life, Steve. I care, and apparently that matters. There's not enough time to do all the things that I think are important.
Yes.
Like tomorrow, tomorrow we need to take the car. We have a car appointment. We need to take the car to get the tires checked out.
Right, because you have a leak.
Yep. And it's saying Adrian is not happy about this. Adrian is saying, hey, 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 hey. And I'm trying to deal with that.
And by the way, in case you haven't mentioned this before, for everybody watching, Adrian is Dana's car.
Yes, named after Adrian Monk because he's afraid of everything. So I'm not sure that the car is afraid of milk. But yeah, Adrian freaks out a lot.
A little nervous.
The road. You have to say that. Are your hands on the wheel? Yes, it's just the road is straight. Well, I just wanted to make sure that your hands were on the wheel. You're getting close to the line. You have to, if you're going to change lanes, you have to put the blinker on before you change lanes, not as you're changing lanes. I wasn't changing lanes. I'm just, there's a 18-wheeler there. I'm giving them some space, and I'm going over close to the line. No, the lines are there for a reason.
What are you doing?
Red light. Actually, Adrian can't tell if it's a red light.
He's not that smart, is he? So,
just wait.
His ghost wheel is Adrian. He should be.
Oh man. Oh, I was so irked this afternoon. I wasn't even like that frustrated. I was just like, I was flummoxed. This afternoon as I was driving home-ish, and I was behind this car that was turning left, and we were on a 3-lane road, 1 lane going each way and a lane in the middle for turning. This car did not pull into the lane in the middle to turn left. They just stopped in the road as though it was a 2-lane road. There's 1 lane going each way. And I was just like, there's literally a lane just for you to do the thing that you're choosing to do. Like, that's what it's there for. It's there for you. And I'm just like, well, how? Like, I understand about not being sure whether or not you're allowed to turn on red, because that's turn right on, because that differs state to state and other stuff. And how can you not know what a left hand is? How? I still can't get that.
I can imagine how incredibly frustrating that must have been. Yeah.
It wasn't frustrating. Yeah. It was confusing.
Infuriating.
I wasn't furious. I wasn't. I only saw a little bit. It was what? It was out of confusion. I promise. It was oh boy. We were going to talk about the book, weren't we? He goes away again. Okay, you better do this. I'm following your lead.
Okay, book. Talking. So we're talking about chapters 10, 11, and 12.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are reading along with us, if you recall, in the previous 3 chapters that we read, we went on this.
Last time on Quicksand.
Indeed. Previously. Helga, our protagonist, had at first found herself wonderfully at home in Harlem, and then after about a year was completely sick of it and hated it. So that's where we left her at the end. As one does. That's where we left her at the end of chapter 9. Now in chapter 10, once again, her life is such an emotional roller coaster. Once again, at the beginning of chapter 10, things start to be looking up for her again. because, you know, she's still emotionally kind of over the whole thing. Like, she doesn't really, the people that she thought of as her friends, she doesn't really like anymore. She's over the whole Harlem vibe. She feels like she's out of place again. And then one day she gets a letter from her Uncle Peter. And this is the Uncle Peter that she tried to visit in Chicago, but he wasn't home, and she ended up having that not very nice encounter with his wife, who told her, you know, don't come around anymore. She got a letter. She gets a letter from Uncle Peter, who apologizes for his wife, but also reiterates what she said. You know, he says like, um, you know, you he says it can't be helped. He says, I'm sorry that you were treated that way. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you that I was married. He apologizes, but then he says, you know, my wife feels very strongly about this, and there's nothing I can do. You know, so if she says that she doesn't want you around, then that's just the way it has to be. Sorry. But to soften the blow a little bit, he also includes with the letter a check, which he says is the money that he had intended to to leave for her at the time of his death, but he has decided to just go ahead and give it to her now. So he's giving her like her share of the inheritance that she was going to get from him now, and it's a check for $5,000. $5,000 is a pretty decent piece of money now for most of us, and in 1920 something, even more so. That's a
Yeah,
lot of money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, that was how much they got off of what was his name? What was his name? Matola in the sink.
Oh yes, yes, and that was back. That was in the 20s, right? Was that when that's
No, that
set?
was in the 30s. There's a
The 30s.
depression on, don't you know? It's
Oh,
always
that's
a
right.
depression on.
One of your favorite
I am
movies,
so proud of myself for coming up with that name, like ridiculously,
and it didn't even take you
completely
that
not
long.
related to our book, but I remembered something, and that's like that is an accomplishment and
And
a half.
in
Hey,
your
Sarah,
diminished condition, even.
I have no idea. It's a lot
It's a
today.
lot. Yeah, yeah. Let's
Not
just
exactly, just mostly me griping about how tired I am and that it's going to be a short stream. Just
Ghost Wheel says, by the way, in today's money, Ghost Wheel estimates that's around $25,000. So it's a nice little chunk of change. And also, her Uncle Peter not only gives her this money, but he also makes a suggestion. He says, why don't you go visit your Aunt Katrina?
Sarah says it's a quarter of a
Sarah
million.
says it's $250,000.
We've definitely got some zeros that don't agree with each other.
Either way, it's a lot of money. Now, if it's $250,000 instead of 25 grand, $250,000 for me at least that's at least a few years worth of fuck off money. I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough money to last the rest of my life, but I could get a good couple of years, a nice long run of fuck off out of that money. And fuck off money is where you just take the money and you can just disappear. And you don't have to say, and you don't have to give a fuck about anybody or anything. You don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. It's fuck off money because you get to tell the rest of the world, hey, fuck off.
Yeah, but the challenge with that is, I mean, the quarter of a million is rough because it's not enough to retire off.
No, it's not.
It's really not. And if you do just like stop working, then you have the challenge of starting back up after you've like, you know, first of all, gotten used to the high life. Second of all, pissed everybody else off by taking your money and going and living the high life without them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I've heard that certain parts of Chile are quite nice. We have our Spanish teacher. One of our Spanish teachers is Chilean. So
yet another estimate from Jay.
25K, 75K, 250K. It may also have to do with what part, you know, where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah. But anyway, it's a lot of money. And and the suggestion is that she go to see her Aunt Katrina, and her Aunt Katrina um, lives in Copenhagen, which is in Europe, which is not in the United States. And Helga's like, "Ooh, I could go live in a whole different country. Maybe that's what I need." So she makes,
Are you noticing a pattern here, folks? Because
yeah,
there
can
does
you,
seem to be something of a pattern.
hmm. So, yeah, she decides because she's over Harlem. She wants to leave now. She has this money, and she's mentioned in previous chapters that she tries. She doesn't like this about herself, but she is a little preoccupied with money. Like she doesn't like having to worry about money. She wants to have money so that she doesn't have to worry about where she's going to get money from, right? Um, so now that she's got,
Because worrying about money is what low class people do.
well,
And she's
yeah,
not low class.
no, she's high class. She's high class.
She is convinced that she's high class.
She's super high class. And
Okay.
so now she hatches this plan, and that she's going to leave Harlem, leave New York, jump on a boat, sail across the Atlantic, and go stay with her aunt and her aunt's family in Copenhagen. So that's her plan. But so now she has to get out of Harlem.
But
And
she's also, before she goes, she's thinking about this and remembering. And quite clearly now, she recalled that her Aunt Katrina had begged for her to be allowed to remain. Why, she wondered, hadn't her mother consented? Hmm.
yes.
Hmm. Odd that.
Well, because she also she's thinking about about her Aunt Katrina, and she says they're my people, you know. Um, and she's
Yeah, she thought that about the people of Harlem.
oh yeah, she's thought that about multiple groups of people, but now she's like, no, but these are really my people because these are actual relatives of hers. This is her
So was
mother's.
Uncle Philip.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, but yeah, and Jay in the chat points this out as well. Helga shows a lot of racism toward her own community. Yes, one of the appeals to her that she comes right out and says in this chapter, one of the appealing things about Copenhagen to her is she doesn't expect to find any other black people there. Like she, as a member of the black community, is like, the best thing about Copenhagen is there aren't going to be any black people over there. Like she's really come to view her own community with a lot of resentment because of course because she is biracial, she has never quite felt completely a part of that community, but even so it's the community where she has lived most of her life, and she has a lot of resentment built up toward the black community, and that's one of the attractive things about Copenhagen to her is you know no other black people. And she does wonder if she will be accepted by all the white people. But at the same time, she's also, drawn to it because of that. So, so yeah, and the chapter ends with she
Where
says
she would be appreciated and understood. This is
exactly.
where it's have you seen um you probably haven't Disney's Hercules.
No, I haven't. I'm a grown up. She can't see everybody, but she's giving me the finger. She's giving me the finger like crazy. I apologize. That was
What?
rude. That was rude.
Steve, that is also wrong. I mean, you're tall. That's about the only up that you've grown.
Anyway, yes, no, I haven't seen Hercules. What were you getting at there?
What's the song, you guys? I think there's a belonging song in Hercules. So I would totally know And I would totally sing for you if I wasn't so tired.
I believe you.
What do you mean sometimes, Kevin? A child in a tall body.
Oh man, you
Is
see,
it a man's body? I mean, we all wonder.
she won't even say a man's
Is
body.
that beard? Is that beard like? Did you just like go out and get some mascara?
Do you see how she emasculates me, everybody? She won't even say a man's body. She has to say a tall body.
Well, it is a tall body, Steve,
You're
isn't it?
right. Yes,
Wait, what? What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I have to give to you, but you won't give to me. I see how this is.
Hey! I'm right.
You're
Okay, I have no problem saying it for myself.
you're right, Dana. Anyway, so yeah, she is really excited about leaving, and yeah, as you quoted, to go to a place to be among approving and admiring people where she would be appreciated and understood. This is her dream. But before
Steve
she
is
gets
six
there,
foot one.
huh?
The,
Oh
the
yes, how tall am I? Yes, yeah, I'm 6'1". Yeah.
or at least he was 20 years ago. I don't know. Maybe he is shrunk in his old age. Do you take calcium supplements yet, Steve?
Not yet, but I get the kind of orange juice that's fortified with calcium,
There you go. So he's probably still at least 6 feet.
and I drink a glass of that every day. Every day.
See, I approve of the orange juice because it's not gross like your sludge.
And I also drink milk because it does a body good.
Uh, Pass it on.
Because Cal Ripken told me to when I was a lad, and I listened to what Cal Ripken says.
Oh, I don't care about color.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
they had a song, milk it does a body good. Pass it on.
Yeah, that's great. But also, Cal Ripken told me to do it. So,
Yeah, but the song's way cooler than Cal Ripken.
Kevin, she has a better mic, but she refused to plug it in. No, you're fine. You're fine the way I told you. It's fine. It's fine. If Kevin hadn't opened his big mouth, I wouldn't have said nothing. God,
I'm
Kevin.
sorry, Kevin.
No.
Can you not hear me?
Sometimes depending on how loud you're talking, sometimes it kind of it sounds like you're like, talking through a tin can. But it's okay.
Well, tin can, you potato.
Wow. God damn. Anyway, so yeah, but she has to get out of town first, before she can begin her epic journey. So she goes out on the town. That's the end of chapter 10. In chapter 11, she
How short are you? I can't be 2.2 Sarah's tall.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's like 3 feet. Sarah, you're taller. I'm not sure what the conversion is.
No, that's like less than 3 feet.
Yeah.
That's like 2'9".
Wow.
I mean, I've never actually seen you, but
are you laughing at Ghost Wheel saying I have a short-sized head?
I've never thought of you that way, Steve. That's novel for me.
I have never thought of myself that way. What is a short-sized head? What is?
It's proportions. He's saying you've got a big head, Steve.
I'm perfectly proportioned, I'll have you know.
Okay.
I'm like the guy on the Voyager record, okay? I'm perfectly proportioned. I mean, I don't have that many arms, but and his hair is way better than mine. But other than that.
Okay.
So anyway, chapter 11. This is Helga's last night in town, sort of. The last night in town we get to see.
Wait. Oh yeah, the last night in town. Okay, I'm not there yet. Because I took notes in the paper copy of the book, which I returned to the library. And now I'm trying to figure out where the heck my where these were in the book.
You rescued your notes out of the.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is also, I think all of the notes are from chapter 11. I
Okay.
think. Maybe, I guess I'll find out. I'll try to pay attention.
So they have a dinner party at Anne and Helga's place. And then after the party is over, they still, after the dinner party's over, everybody still feels like partying. So they go out on the town and they end up at a club and they
Wait, I
get,
think he jumped. Wait, no. Yep, wait. Is this after the party or is this during the party?
well, they have the dinner party, which I don't think we
Okay,
see anything about. And then they go
right.
out on the town.
Okay, yeah, the
Yeah.
jazz club. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was thinking that was the party. Whoops.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, basically it's a party. I mean, they're out they're out at the club and they're dancing and drinking, and
Okay,
um,
Sarah, you need to watch his most recent um Ask a Professional YouTuber video.
oh yeah, you see my legs in that.
Yep. And the proportions because you're like crawling around.
The ideal proportions, yes, and
Ideal.
and also the video that I have going up this coming Monday. You see my legs in that one too.
Wait,
Just so you know.
did I get that wrong?
What?
Did I jump ahead?
Jump ahead for what?
Ask a Professional YouTuber is his
Yeah,
past one,
that's the
right?
most. Yeah, you're right. The most recent one. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't
yeah.
want to give any spoilers.
No. That came out on Monday. Yeah, no, the
Okay, good.
one. Yeah, no, the one that comes out this coming Monday is the spirit photography one that I think I told you about.
That's right. Yes. With,
And you
with poor Mary Todd Lincoln.
poor Mary Todd Lincoln, and
Oh,
you see my legs in that because I do my own quote unquote spirit photograph for a little comedy bit at the beginning of that. So
ah.
all
Well,
right.
Sarah, Steve has always said that he has two left feet, so it makes sense if he has two left legs.
I mean, yeah. How could yeah? I mean, what is the other left foot grafted onto a right leg? Like what the makes no sense. Anyway, so so they're all out at the club, and who should she spy at the club? Who should she spy at the club?
Are you going to tell us?
But Dr. Anderson. Yes, her former boss from Naxos, who has since relocated to Harlem, who she apparently kind of had the hots for, and who also seemed to be kind of into her, but it's been some time has passed since then. And now here he is at the club, and he has a date. And I think Helga's kind of into his date. At the very least, she is fascinated by Dr. Anderson's date. Perhaps it is a bit too strong to say that Helga is into her, but she is quite distracted by her. Um, and also, Anne uh, knows a little something about Dr. Anderson's date. Apparently, her name is Audrey, and Anne really doesn't like her because Anne says,
Imagine that.
"I know." Well, because Anne says that she hasn't got much use for Harlem anymore. I'm quoting now. It's a wonder she hasn't some white man hanging about. The disgusting creature. I wonder how she inveigled Anderson. But that's Audrey. If there's any desirable man about, trust her to attach him. She ought to be ostracized. And Helga's like, why ought she be ostracized? And Anne says, because she goes about with white people. Because remember, Anne's political leanings are, at least in terms of race, are pretty extreme. She's essentially, this term is wasn't really in use back in these times, but she's essentially a black separatist. That's what she is calling for. That's sort of what she would prefer. That's why she likes Harlem, or at least the neighborhoods of Black Harlem that they spend most of their time in, because it's sort of a community for us, by us, and there are obviously some advantages to that. But Helga or Anne rather takes it to the extreme of, like, us black folks shouldn't even be even socially mixing with white people. Like we should be separating ourselves from them completely. And one of the things she says to sort of attack Audrey while she's talking about her with Helga here is she says she throws parties for white and black people together. Like that's a big no-no. Throwing integrated parties in Anne's mind is like a huge problem. She says she calls it obscene. Um so
And this question. So Anne says at these parties, the white men dance with the colored women. Now you know that can only mean one thing. And Helga, like Helga asks, don't the colored men dance with the white women, or do they sit about impolitely while the other men dance with their women? And I'm just like, okay, like, no, not there. How naive is she? Like, how much does she not know? Like, I don't think it would go over well
yeah.
at all. I think we skipped this note though, because I think that would have been back in chapter 10 here. Did we miss
Who
that one?
puts claret in lemonade? Yes, that was. I remember we talked about this back a couple weeks ago when we first read this bit.
Feeling a little bit bad about ditching Anne.
Who puts claret in lemonade?
Yeah, that was the part that stood out to me. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here, but I'm like, that sounds awful.
I believe when we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we first read these chapters, like my response was, it sounds like you're just ruining both things. If you're adding claret to lemonade, you're not going to get the best of either one of those. It's like, why would you do that? I mean, there's other kinds. If you want to put booze in lemonade, there's other ways to do it. Like, why are you mixing?
It is, but it's the 20s, so they may be limited.
That's true. It is prohibition. Maybe claret's all they had.
So anyway, I noted. I found this is one of my notes here, and I wrote they're slumming.
Yeah.
Yes. That's.
Yeah. Ghost Wheel, exactly. Mike's Hard Lemonade
is that's not the same.
Not well because it's not made with claret for one thing.
Exactly.
And also it's widely available because we are no longer living under prohibition. So you don't have to know a guy who can sneak you in a case over the border from Canada.
A guy.
I got a hard lemonade guy. You have a hard lemonade. Never mind.
No, because it was Ocean's 11.
Okay.
The end of Ocean's 11.
I didn't see Ocean's 11.
You never saw Ocean's 11?
I think I saw the original one with Sinatra a long time ago, but I haven't seen any of the new ones. No.
Neither. Anyway, continue.
So, chapter 11. So yeah, he's she's watching Dr. Anderson and she's watching his date Audrey, and let me see if I can find the section here. This is near the end, because again, as I said, Helga seems like super interested in Audrey at the very least. And she says, and Anne doesn't like her, and Audrey, decides, what, it's not worth arguing about. And Helga says, or the text says about Helga, she felt that it would be useless to tell them that what she felt for the beautiful, calm, cool girl who had the assurance, the courage so placidly to ignore racial barriers and give her attention to people was not contempt, but envious admiration. So she remained silent, watching the girl. At the next first sound of music, Dr. Anderson rose. Languidly, the girl followed his movement, a faint smile parting her sorrowful lips at some remark he made. Her long, slender body swayed with an eager, pulsing motion. She danced with grace and abandon, gravely, yet with obvious pleasure. Her legs, her hips, her back, all swaying gently, swung by that wild music from the heart of the jungle. Helga turned her glance to Dr. Anderson. Her disinterested curiosity passed, while she still felt for the girl envious admiration. That feeling was now augmented by another, more primitive emotion. She forgot the garish, crowded room. She forgot her friends. She saw only two figures closely clinging. She felt her heart throbbing. She felt the room receding. She went out the door. She climbed the endless stairs. At last, panting, confused, but thankful to have escaped, she found herself again out in the dark night alone, a small, crumpled thing in a fragile, flying black and gold dress. A taxi drifted toward her, stopped. She stepped into it, feeling cold, unhappy, misunderstood, and forlorn. So she says that, the thing she admires about Audrey is that she seems carefree in terms of race, and she'll socialize with black folks and with white folks, and she doesn't give a shit.
And yet she describes her physically
Yeah,
in great detail.
yeah, Helga. It seems to me that she admires more than just that about her. Yeah, Helga. Like I said, I think Helga's a little into her. And of course, when she gets outside, she describes feeling confused, like maybe she's never looked at another woman this way before. And she's like, what does this mean? In the 20s, this is probably going to be bad for me, you know? But so, yeah, but but it's on that note that we leave her in New York, because at the beginning of chapter 12, she is on her way. She is across the sea and happy to go, quite happy to be out of New York and out of the United States and on her way to visit her aunt in Copenhagen. And yeah, so that's where we
Now,
pick things
I
up in
will
chapter 12.
say
Yeah.
this is on that at the beginning of chapter 12, I feel a kinship with her. Not the very beginning, but a few paragraphs later.
Okay.
Almost at once it was time for dinner. Somewhere a bell sounded. She turned in with buoyant steps, went down. Already she had begun to feel happier. Like, I'm right there with you, Helga. Woohoo! Dinner time. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I thought of you when I read that part too, because that is such a fundamental part of your personality. Like, ooh, food? Like,
Yeah.
that's you.
Now, except the next sentence is, just for a moment, outside the dining salon, she hesitated.
Nope.
Nope.
That's not you.
This girl's like, let me in. Where's the buffet? It's a buffet, right? This is a big ship. We got a buffet. I've been on literally one cruise, but first of all, you could just go up and get ice cream. Go up, get a cone. Unlimited ice cream. What?
I've never taken a cruise, mostly because I've never felt like I've done anything bad enough to deserve it.
What seems terrible about a cruise?
Being on a ship with hundreds of other people for like how long? Like weeks? Like that seems like hell to me.
Yeah, but they're just there.
You're trapped in a floating hotel with hundreds of strangers.
Yeah.
I'm sure the food is not. I mean,
strangers are easy for me because I don't have to care. It's why I have like cons. I enjoy cons, or have enjoyed cons. Haven't been to one in a while, but strangers are so nice. It's like, oh, hey, interesting people. And unfortunately, you can just walk away.
And that is another difference I think between the two of us is I don't enjoy cons like at all. I mean, people. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a fellow Trekkie a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Hey, we got to get you out to one of these cons. Are you going to go to such and such con?" And I was like, "No, I wasn't thinking about it." And they say like, well, the fun part isn't really the con. The fun part is the parties afterwards. And I'm like, boy, you're just really not winning me over at all. It's like I don't enjoy cons. I don't enjoy parties. I don't really enjoy people. It's like,
I will say when I go to one of the nerd cons, I tend to gravitate toward the adult lit track on
mhm.
whatever it is and be like, books, 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 what books, 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 books. This character is like that character, and that character is like this character. Have you read this? I read this. Isn't it great? Oh my goodness. And yeah, so there's that. I mean, I can stay in the YA lit track the whole time and just talk about books with like people who like books.
Let me ask you this, and then we'll get back to this book. But
Okay.
I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to confirm this and for the entertainment of our viewers. Okay, so you are standing across from two doors. Above the first door,
Uh-oh.
above the first door, food. Above the second door, books. Which door do
Oh.
you go through?
Oh, I hate you. Oh. And you promise you'll be honest?
Yes, I will be. Yes,
Okay. Food.
I thought so.
Now, why did you think so?
Well, my because you love food, and um, I mean you love books too, obviously. But my qualifier was going to be I was wondering because if you were going to have difficulty choosing, you might say, well, it depends on what time of day it is, right? Because if you have eaten recently, you know, you might be like, let me get some books, right? But if you're hungry or if you haven't eaten for a while, right? Obviously, right to food. But I think the food thing is more primal, is more
No, no,
sort of
no, 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 no. It's
fundamental.
because I've already read lots of books. And so
You've already eaten lots of food.
food, like the memory of food is there's a sense of longing. Oh, it's so good. Like so Chattanooga used to have a restaurant called the Fork and Pie Bar.
Hmm.
And like
Yes,
it was
you've
all
told me about
pie.
this.
It was all pie. Like they had chicken pie and um shepherd's pie and just like all kinds of like savory pies for like dinner. And then of course, you would have strawberry pie and rhubarb pie and pecan pie and for dessert. And it closed. And I will never not be
Oh,
sad about that. But I don't think, one of my favorite books is Santa Queen Gables. And first of all, I haven't read it in years, but I don't feel sad about that. In part because, I mean, A, I own it, B, it's in the public domain. But also, like, I don't have to read it anymore. I know the book so well that I can just bring it up and like take myself into the book without having the book. Does that make
right.
sense?
Yeah, yeah,
With
absolutely.
food, you can't do that. Like, I need to
That's a good point.
be consuming the food to really get the enjoyment out of it. With a book, I can just like, I mean, it's one of the things that makes writing so hard. It's like, I know how my Chloe fanfic goes. Like, I know sort of the process of it. Just like getting it into words.
Yeah.
Oh God, that part sucks. Ah, but if it's gonna get written, I have to do it. But like, and same thing with books. Like, Bloody Jack. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, Jackie, no. Exactly. See, and
Yeah,
it's like you're right there in a really good book. You
that's
can
a
just
really
sort of
good
like
point.
just go right into it. You don't actually need the book itself. Now, if on the other hand, if you said behind this door is the best book you haven't read, this will be your favorite book. I would take that over the food.
Because there's
If
always
I
more food.
knew it was going to be a book that I was going to really love and I hadn't read it.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, back
Ghost
to
Wheel, I
this
don't know
book.
if I'd take either. Actually, I take the bologna. I mean, in part because I've already read the Bible, and also
The
because
Bible and the Ghost Wheel. That I mean, I would take the bologna too. Like, what the fuck? I mean, look, there are some passages in the King James Bible that are quite lovely, but are they worth a slice of bologna? I don't know.
plus, if you know that they're lovely, you've already read them.
I've
So
already read them.
yeah.
So
Jay, yes, I have. My favorite for a long time was Anne's House of Dreams. But
bologna.
I'm gravitating well, and then of course when I first started teaching, Anna Winnie Poplars was like Anna Winnie Poplars and the Long Winter, like the teaching books, where they had a miserable time. That I'm like, haha, it's not just me. When you start out as a teacher, it sucks, no matter like what century. And but now I'm kind of back to the first two, Anna Jane Davis and Anne Avenue, the growing up book. It's just like these are so nice and comforting. Never really been a fan of the later books that really focus on the kids more. Although there's that one scene in Rilla of Ingleside where Anne and Gilbert go out and they meet up and they at some event they see Christine Stewart and Anne is smug because Christine Stewart has gotten fat. It's so great. They're like in their 50s or something. And it's hilarious. Okay, let's go back. Chapter
Yes.
12.
Enough about Bibles and bologna and Anne of Green Gables.
Nothing about it. And Shirley.
So Helga's on the ship, as you say. She's she has a little bit to eat. She's on the ship for a while because it's a transatlantic cruise. Um, and when she's starting to get closer to Denmark, um, she starts to worry. She starts to have second thoughts because she worries because she's never her aunt is married. She's never met her aunt's husband, and she's worried what if her husband turns out to be like Uncle Peter's wife and doesn't like her and doesn't want her, and she's going to be cast out again, right? And she's worried about that. And then she's worried about, well, gee, what if the ship gets in and it's not the time that it was supposed to? What if it's early and nobody's here to meet me? And what do I do? Should I call somebody? Should I send a telegram? Should I try to hail a taxi? Where do I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go. Like all of the worries start coming into her head now, right? And the ship comes in, the plank goes down. She's getting off the ship, and she's sort of surveying the crowd at the dock, looking for see if she sees anybody. And then she spots her aunt, and she knows it's her because she looks like her mother because they were sisters. And she's like, that's her. And her husband is with her, and he's very welcoming, very gracious, and he's trying to speak to her in English, even though that's obviously not a language that he has mastered yet. And she remembers a little Danish from when she was here as a girl, so they kind of are able to get by, with the little bit of Danish that she knows, and the little bit of English that he knows. And then there's another couple that's with them that have come with her aunt and uncle to meet her, and they speak English, so they're kind of like the interpreters. And their names are the Fishers, Herr and Frau Fisher. And everybody meets everybody and says, oh, the like the ship came in early, and they said it was going to be here at 9, and then it turned out it was going to be here at 8, and we had to rush and find a cab, and we were worried we weren't going to get here in time. um and everybody, but everything worked out, and everybody's laughing and having a good time, and the chapter ends with, at last, customs having been hurried and a cab secured, they were off with much chatter through the toy-like streets, weaving perilously in and out among the swarms of bicycles. It had begun. A new life for Helga Crane. Again. So this is really, these three chapters especially are really where you become very aware of the pattern of this woman's life, where now it's happened three times in the book. Now it's unmistakable, where like she lives at a place, she gets sick of the place, she fixates on a new place, convinces herself that this is going to be the place, this is where everything's going to turn around for me, this is where I'm going to find my calling and find my people and be happy. And then the cycle just starts over again, and now here we are at the end of chapter 12, and she's in Copenhagen, and the pattern has started again. And Jay in the chat, exactly how long until Helga gets dissatisfied? So here we are.
That's
Yeah, is she going to make it? Because there was that, and Harlem had only lasted one chapter. Remember Harlem? There was the one chapter where everything was awesome. It was the best place in the world. By the next chapter, it was like, now I'm over it. I mean, so we shall see. But that definitely seems to be, you know, the pattern. And people were speculating. Somebody joked in the chat earlier, how long until she falls into the quicksand? I feel like we're starting to get kind of a sense of the meaning of the title. I mean, we haven't gotten to the end of the book yet. There's still a long way to go. We're only about halfway through, but you're starting to, at least, if I can speculate a little, having never read the book, you're starting to get a sense of what the title means, because it's like she continues to reach out and grab at things that she think will be her salvation, but it turns out that nothing is that, and she just continues to sink. So yeah. Anyway,
into the quicksand.
Into the quicksand.
Oh.
So yeah, that's chapter 12. That's all that we were scheduled to talk about. That's all that we read. So yeah. Do you have thoughts on how things are going so far?
Pretty much about the same. So how much longer? How long will Helga be in Denmark? We're all kind of wondering.
And then she's like, Germany. Germany seems nice. And then she's like, maybe I'll try Asia. I bet that's nice. But which country? There are so many countries in Asia that I could visit and become disillusioned with.
Take a week on each one. Maybe not even that long.
Take a week on each one. You got $5,000, baby. Enjoy it.
And Jay, yeah. And I think some of it is that she's in her 20s. Oh my gosh. I'm so old. I sound like an old lady.
She's in her 20s. She's just a kid. Yeah, Sarah, you're right. Germany 1920, probably not so good.
She needs to meet a nice man and settle down.
You'll never find a husband if you keep moving around like that.
You need to lower your expectations. You just need to find a man who only beats you when he's sober.
Yeah. It's the 20s. That's the best you can.
Be so often. You just put a little tipple in his other tipple. Put some brandy in his beer.
Just add some tipple to his tipple. It'll be fine. Just give him twice as much as whatever he wants.
There you go.
Here's your whiskey, sweetheart. Drink it all. Make sure you drink it all, because sometimes the poison does settle to the bottom.
Chicken not stirred.
So, yeah. I like Ghost Wheel's answer to Jay's question of how long until Helga gets dissatisfied. The next sentence. I haven't read ahead. I don't know, but it is entirely possible. It would not surprise me if, like, the next chapter begins with, and Helga decided, fuck Denmark.
You wouldn't be surprised, huh?
I would not. I would not. So that's it for the chapters we were going to discuss, and I believe now we could wrap up the stream because you are, you have done your duty. I think.
Sarah, boy, could I say some things. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, just like honestly, the no, no.
Get pregnant and have lots of kids because that's a woman's duty.
Well, I'm glad we've got you on record saying that, Steve.
Sarcastically.
Mm.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No.
Dana. My record speaks for itself.
I'm going to forget, Steve, that you said this. I wish I could remember, but I probably won't. Steve?
Yes.
Will you remember that you said this, please? Please?
That I said what? That I said that a woman's duty is to get pregnant and have kids?
Uh-huh.
And then I said that I was saying it sarcastically?
That's fine. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not upset about this. Dawn. Oh! One day, Steve. One day you'll understand why it matters.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, I'll forget. And if you don't remind me, this whole little bit thing will just it'll be gone. It will be a missed opportunity.
Well, how often am I supposed to remind you? Like, should I remind you every time we talk? Hey, don't forget that thing I said about women.
Every live stream.
Wow. So this is like a thing that this is going to pay off at some point.
At some point.
Okay. All right.
I've done my part. Well, now, not every one of your live streams, just everyone that I'm in.
Everyone that we're in together, of course.
Yes.
Of course. Speaking of which, we have another one of those on Wednesday.
Yes, we do.
Which is the next episode of Hilda.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. And you have your own YouTube channel, youtube.com/DanaColdDares, where you put up your own amazing, wonderful videos. When is your professional day video supposed to go up?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'm gonna write the description as soon as we're done here. It's sitting right there. The working title, which I'm probably not gonna use. I'll probably change it. when we had the video of what was I doing like this or something? The working title was, but you have summers off. But it's not really about that, but man, it worked with that face.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be like, stop calling it a free day.
Right. Because it's about you actually chronicled your day on Wednesday when you had when you didn't have students, and you show how much work the teacher still does even on a day when they don't have students.
And I need to remember to include that I didn't actually another thing that I often do during planning time is call parents and guardians, because obviously I can't do that with students in the room that I'm supposed to be supervising, and also not supposed to be discussing like what's going on with them,
like a privacy issue,
to their parents and guardians with other students around there.
Yeah.
Not a really good idea. But I didn't do that yesterday because I just did a bunch of that during my planning period the day before. So I want to include that there. And I also need to mention that the picture on thingy is not in the video because I actually did it this morning. But today, no. What's today? Today's Friday. That's this one. So the video is from Wednesday. And then like during that day, the others came in and moved the screen. So I was like, you need to use the whiteboard. So the picture is actually from like the next day when I took notes on the whiteboard and with the purple and green and orange and blue and the red and brown and black over on the side. I get to use my markers now. I get so excited about food and writing in colors.
Colors, yeah.
Yeah, but actually, here we go. Hey, look. It's my Hello Kitty bag, and it's got like a whole bunch of pens in it, and they're all different colors. Woo-hoo! I love colors.
So that's tomorrow, the professional day video.
Have I
And
done my something? Have I done? I've done my part. Yep.
Dana always does her part.
I sometimes I don't. Like I
You,
didn't. I couldn't. I didn't get to do the live stream last week.
well, but, that's okay. But well, we didn't do one, therefore there was no part for you to do. It's not like I did it by
Oh,
myself and you didn't do your
let's
part.
see. But y'all, it was for a good cause. Do you know
That's right.
why I didn't do the live stream last week? Because I was scouting out some folks. I got to go to a meeting where the candidates who are going to run against each other in the primary run against Marjorie Taylor Greene in the general election next year. And they talked about, how they were developing their campaign and what they were doing so that whoever ends up winning in the primary is going to defeat her and start working on turning our section more progressive. Yay.
So you were doing your part.
Yeah. And it's hard because you can't do all the things. I can't do all the things.
I know. And there's so many things you want to do. You want to do you want to do way more things than I want to do. Like I want to find ways to do less, and you're like constantly striving to do more.
But there's so many interesting things. I'm tomorrow. I'm going to be volunteering at the library. I'm going to be testing the books, and I get to go into the local history section again and look at all the books that
Oh, cool.
that Mr. Milton collected. Milton's also the name of the town where I grew up. That he collected and his estate donated to the library. And he was a historian who lived in the early part of the 20th century. So some of the books go from like pre-Civil War to like the 30s. And I mean, it's just really interesting just to like look at the book. And I mean, I'm volunteering, they ain't paying me, so there's no rush. Plus,
Right.
I want to be careful with them. So I'm just like, I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, not to the extent that I sit down and get stuck in what they're not like compelling, but it's like some of them, just some of the titles, and like there was like 4 of them were collected speeches of like the collected speeches of the 1840s. I'm like, did not expect that to be a bestseller, but apparently it was, somebody bought it. So yeah. Oh yeah, and don't forget to mention thank you,
Yes.
Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Charity links, charitylinks.page. Help out some friends
Very
of ours
important.
who are in a bad situation. You click that link and it'll take you to a Google Doc where you find links to people's PayPals and crowdfunding campaigns and stuff like that. And if you have a few bucks that you can spare to help out somebody who is in need of help, we would really, really appreciate that. Also, don't forget Dana's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dana Calderas. Don't forget the Ensign's log that Dana and I both co-star in alongside Jason Harding, the Star Trek themed
Don't
comedy
forget also
podcast. Go ahead.
your other podcast.
Yes, that's right. And Late Seating, which has a new episode up today where we review Evil Dead 2. And then our next new episode of Ensign's Log goes up next Friday. And that's a good one because we recorded it already. So I know that's also a good one. So yeah, there we go. And we'll be back.
Sarah, I answered that. Somebody else asked about that. I think they're sock puppets.
Trolls.
Sock puppets look so innocent and adorable and, harmless, but they're really just fishes. Can I say that? I can say fishes, right? I'm not going to get me fired. And no, I don't think so because I do include them in like some of my lessons and stuff. So if that was the case, there would be more of them on like the grammar ones, and it's not. They're pretty evenly dispersed throughout the collection.
Right.
So I think it's people like a very specific group of people who decided that they don't like me, and that's how they're going to show me. And I'm okay with that. if that's how they're going to show me that they don't like me, I'm really okay, because that's sock puppet Jesus is like a word.
Sock puppet Jesus.
I don't know that I have a whole bunch. I'm no sock puppet Jesus can talk all sock puppet Jesus once. Ding is gonna breastfeed me towards that. Ooh, it's after 7 o'clock.
So I'll be back a week from today for Ask Away, and then Dana and I will be back in 2 weeks for the next Read Away. And for that, we will be doing the next 3 chapters, chapters 13, 14, and 15. So there we go. Until then, Dana, thank you so much for sticking this one out. And
Thanks so much for putting up with me. But seriously, guys, I'm sorry. I took the microphone with me on Wednesday um, to school, and I brought it back, but it's like it's over there.
it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, we're almost done.
It's okay. So that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Dana, go relax, go to bed, and we'll see
Okay.
everybody next time. Have a good night and have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye, everybody. Wash your hands and stay healthy.
Good advice.